Hey nerds, and welcome back to Lily's Ranger Talk episode 2, or episode 4 if you want to count the Instagram episodes I did a while back. I decided with the key and major rant that that's going to technically be episode 1, even though I did refer to it several times as episode 3. Just deal with it, I guess. Anyways, this is Lily with Lily's Ranger World. I say that like we're a company, and we're not. It's just me. But I'm gonna continue to do it anyways. But yeah, happy Power Month, everyone. At the time of recording this, it is August 5th, 2024, and it is officially Power Month. If you're going to Power Morphicon, know that I am extremely jealous of you. Especially since this lineup is so cool. Not just with the Super Sentai actors, but also, we're getting a lot of the Disney era actors coming back, and that is very cool. But we're not here to talk about Power Morphicon, because I will cry, because of course I have to be back at school. But today we're going to be looking at some unpopular opinions that I found on Reddit about Power Rangers and Super Sentai. Well, today is going to be Power Rangers. I could have done this in 2 episodes, but I decided not to. But today we're going to do Power Rangers, and then next episode we will do Super Sentai. And as you guys may or may not know, I have a very spicy, unpopular opinion that I'm going to save for an episode on itself, and it's going to be like a little essay. But yeah, we're going to look at some unpopular opinions, some that I agree with, some that I disagree with, some that I don't know how I'll feel about it, and we'll see where we go from there. Also, I'm sorry if I'm cutting a lot. I know I talked about this in my last episode. I blab, but sometimes, I make mistakes, and, I want this to be the best for you guys, so if I cut a lot, that is why. And also, as usual, please let me know how the audio is. I'm trying something new. I say this like I haven't uploaded the other episode yet and haven't gotten responses, but still, please send me your responses if this is better. And yeah, let's get started. So this first one is by Ravage Lance, and also this Reddit's 2 years old, so take that with what you will. But this one is, I know this is an unpopular opinion because I've heard so many people talk about this character. Justin is not a bad character. Power Rangers is popular among kids, and having a kid character for the audience to relate to is not a bad thing. Now, have I watched enough Turbo to really judge Justin as a character? Technically, no, but I did watch the Turbo movie, and I even stated before that it's my favorite out of the 3 Power Rangers movies that we have. And I agree with this unpopular opinion. I don't think Justin is that bad of a character. Can he be annoying at times? Yes, but guess what, guys? He's a kid. Kids are annoying. And honestly, I think the reason why I don't mind Justin that much as a character, and even amongst, these old teenagers, is because I grew up watching Beetleborgs, and they were 3 typical average kids who were superheroes. And honestly, that's probably where they got the idea, if I'm being honest, because Beetleborgs was very popular in the 90s, and if I'm remembering this correctly, I think it was even doing better than Zeo at the time. I could be wrong, but, ratings-wise, I think it was doing better than Power Rangers at some point within the, 2-ish years that they were on the air. Year and a half. And plus, Turbo was in 97, Beetleborg started in 96. I can't believe it's been 28 years. It's almost going to be 30 years since my favorite show. That's weird. But yeah, that's partially why I agree with it. This one's a good one. From Examination No 8923. I like the Neo Saban era of Power Rangers, especially Samurai and Super Megaforce. So I agree and I disagree. What do I disagree on? Super Megaforce is bad. Megaforce is okay. But something I thought about, now for context, for my sake, things about me, I have an older brother who is a 90s kid, so I had a lot of VHS tapes of Power Rangers, and specifically Mighty Morphin, but like we also had specials, Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed. Shockingly enough, not Time Force, which is weird. My introduction to Time Force was through the PS1 video game. But, yeah, that was my introduction to Power Rangers. And I think what Samurai did for a majority of 2000s kids is, introduce them to Power Rangers. And, I mean, you can also argue that maybe the Disney era shows also did that. But not everyone had Jetix as a kid. I wasn't aware of Jetix as a kid. Either that or my parents wouldn't let me watch it. One of the two. I don't think we had it. So while I knew about the Disney era shows for like YouTube and stuff, I never like watched an episode live. But I can't say the same thing about the Neo Saban era. I have watched Samurai live. I watched Super Mega Force live, kind of, like, on and off again. I remember watching the Super Mega Battle, whatever. I was in, not high school, I was in middle school then. My middle school was my high school. Anyways, so I think Samurai being on Nickelodeon, a channel that more kids had access to, I think that was a great way to, have Power Rangers, more accessible. And I think the main problem with the Neo Saban era, and also the Hasbro era, for the most part, granted, Hasbro killed Power Rangers, let's not deny that. But I think the problem was eventually they moved the time slot to, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. And I'm sorry, no kids are going to wake up on a Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning, if they don't have to watch Power Rangers. Even I wouldn't do that. And I think that was one of the downfalls and why Power Rangers, wasn't as popular. I don't know if that was Saban's fault or if that was Nickelodeon's fault, but the fact that they put it on at 8 o'clock in the morning, that killed the franchise, with airing, pretty much. Netflix, doing the Netflix stuff, I think has been better for Power Rangers. But yeah. And as for the seasons of the Neo Saban era, Samurai was good, but that might just come from nostalgia. Dino Charge, from the episodes that I've watched, were pretty good. I heard that Super Dino Charge or Dino Supercharge wasn't as good. And I watched the first season of Ninja Steel and like the first half of the second season. Ninja Steel is okay. It's not great. It's not terrible. Like, I think it's better than Super Mega Force, but I don't know if I would say it's like better than Dino Supercharge or just Dino Charge in general. But yeah, that's my opinion. Also, we all know that the Neo Saban era produced the worst characters in all of Power Rangers, in my opinion. And I'm not even talking about that certain character from Megaforce that rhymes with boy. I'm thinking like Victor and Monty from Ninja Steel. The worst Bulk and Skull duplicates ever. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Okay, so technically this isn't like necessarily, I mean, it is related to Power Rangers, but I just have to include it. Beetleborgs is a better rewatch than near every Power Ranger season. They lean all the way into the campy territory, unlike Power Rangers that tries to play it serious at points, when most of the actors don't have the range to, nor are the script writers good enough. So, here's my opinion on that. As we've discussed, I am a huge Beetleborgs fan. I wouldn't say, I don't know if they're necessarily saying it's better than Power Rangers, but I think there are certain seasons of Power Rangers that, can be equal to Beetleborgs. And for me, that's Time Force, because Time Force is great. But you're right. Um, it is a better rewatch for some seasons because of that campy territory. It is very funny. And honestly, and I've talked about this on my Instagram, I can go back after watching the same episode, I, I don't know, millions of times within the past, I don't know, 18 years of my life. And I still laugh because it's so funny. And, there are Power Ranger seasons that I don't think aged well. MMPR being the biggest one. I think that Beetleborgs, I don't know if I would say it aged well, but yeah, it aged well. So this next opinion, I would love to have a discussion about. Not sure how unpopular this is, but Power Rangers is best when they aren't teenagers. That's very, very interesting. I don't know if I agree or disagree with this. I really do think it depends on the season. Um, People were pointing out in the comments about Lightspeed Rescue. I think Lightspeed Rescue works because, we're not pretending these are like teenage prodigies who, are firefighters and doctors and I don't know, stuntmen. They are adults, in the workforce. Albeit, I think Dana being, isn't she like a nurse or something? I watched like the first couple episodes of Lightspeed. Never finished that season. But wasn't Dana like a doctor or something? And she was 18, which that's probably inaccurate, but yeah, and that being said, I think that also works. Another adult season that works, I think, it's Time Force, because again, they are officers and they're getting married and they're dealing with death, which granted, a lot of kids deal with death. And on the younger scale, and again, a commenter pointed this out, I don't think Dino Thunder would have worked if they were adults. Granted, we had Tommy as the only like adult ranger, but he kind of doesn't count because like he's a veteran ranger. But yeah, I don't think Dino Thunder would have worked if they were adults. Now, granted, Dino Fury / Cosmic Fury, I don't know like the exact ages of everyone, but I know most of them were adults, and then Izzy was in high school and Fern, and then they started college. So yeah, they mixed ages, which I don't know if that worked. I think it worked, but like I don't know. But yeah, I truly think it depends on the season and how believable said teenagers are. Like, I personally, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the 90s, but I don't think, like, going back and watching Mighty Morphin, I don't think Mighty Morphin, they convinced me as teenagers. But yeah, I think I'm going to do 2 more opinions. I found one that I disagree with. In my opinion, MMPR is still the very best Power Rangers has to offer. I disagree with that 100%. Now, do I think MMPR is bad? No. And I also can't judge it too much because, like I said, I haven't watched the full MMPR episodes because there's like too many of them. Not to say that I haven't watched MMPR. Like I said, I grew up watching those tapes. So, I am mainly familiar with the season 1, cast. But I have watched, some of season 2. I watched some of season 3. I just don't think they're as good as later seasons. And I think it's kind of outdated. It didn't really age well. Plus, you're saying that when there are beloved seasons, and I'm not just talking about like Time Force, but like In Space, I know people love Zeo, and then, the whole Disney era, which that in itself, I mean, there are people who compare the Disney era and say the Disney era is the best era, and I mean, I can't disagree that the Disney era has probably the best seasons, but also I think we gotta give like the Zordon eras, both of them, credit. They have good seasons too. They have In Space, they have Time Force, even Lost Galaxy. I've watched a couple episodes of Lost Galaxy when I was younger, and I thought Lost Galaxy was pretty good. But yeah, overall, like, I don't think MMPR has the best, for Power Rangers. I think you should watch some episodes, to get a feel for Power Rangers and to introduce yourself to the series, because, you gotta give MMPR credit. It's where it all began. But, yeah, I overall just think there are better seasons. And for our last opinion, I actually went on the Ranger Wiki and found a comment, and I am very conflicted on this. Where is it? I just lost it. Okay, I found it. Time Force, and Jen specifically, is overrated. This is so difficult for me to even think about because I don't know if I agree with that. I think Time Force is a really great season. I think it was really well written. It talked about serious moments, and I just really I enjoyed my time with Time Force. And look, this might be my bias talking because Time Force is my favorite season, but I guess I just owe a lot to Time Force because it was was and still is my comfort show. And as for Jen specifically being overrated, I think the reason why people think that is because, Jen was the leader of Time Force, and we all praise her because, she's a tough girl who is also, dare I say, attractive. But I think, and it's also important, she's our first Pink Ranger, who is a leader, and yes, I would say technically she is also the first, female leader in a full season because Delphine with Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, that was like, it was pretty much a half season, which kind of sucks. I wish we got to see more of Delphine. But yeah, I will say that in terms of like Time Force, it's not a perfect season. It is a great season. I think it's one of the best, but best does not always equal perfect because there's the problem that it's pretty much, centered on Jen and Wes, and when he comes in, Eric, but then we forget about the other three. Specifically, Katie, I think, gets like the least focused episodes. I think out of the three characters, Trip, Lucas, and Katie, I think Katie gets the least, and then I think Trip gets the most, but that's only because I consider episodes where they focus on Circuit, because Trip and Circuit are friends slash, Trip created Circuit. I kind of considered that like a Trip adjacent focus episode. But yeah, that is the last opinion, and that is it for this episode of Lily's Ranger Talk. Next week, or whenever the next episode will be, we will talk about Super Sentai unpopular opinions. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please let me know your hot takes. Let's talk about that in the comment section below. And subscribe and follow me on Instagram, Lily's_Ranger World. And I love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.